The matching suits are officially gone, and with them, the Il Volo we once knew. Gianluca Ginoble's recent solo appearances at high-fashion front rows aren't just a style choice. They are a calculated strike against the trio's unified brand. We are witnessing the intentional dismantling of an era. For more than a decade, the operatic pop phenomenon known as Il Volo, the internationally celebrated trio featuring Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble, has been defined not only by soaring vocal harmonies but by a carefully curated visual identity built on unity discipline and synchronized elegance, where the iconic image of matching three-piece suits and coordinated stage styling became a signature symbol representing harmony, professionalism, and collective strength. Yet in the fast-evolving landscape of global celebrity culture, where fashion increasingly functions as a language of power and personal branding, subtle visual signals can reveal deeper transformations long before official announcements appear. And over the past year, observers of both music and fashion have begun noticing a dramatic shift surrounding Gianluca Ginoble, whose growing presence at elite high-fashion events suggests a deliberate departure from the trio's traditional uniformity and raises a provocative question: is the visual foundation of Il Volo quietly beginning to fracture? To understand why these appearances have sparked such intense speculation, we have to revisit the origins of the trio's aesthetic philosophy. Because from their earliest international performances, the group adopted a synchronized wardrobe strategy where identical tailoring reinforced the narrative that the three singers were a single artistic entity, moving and performing as one cohesive force. And this aesthetic approach proved incredibly effective because it visually mirrored the musical harmony of their operatic pop sound, allowing audiences to associate the group with classical discipline, timeless elegance, and a shared identity that transcended individual personalities. However, cultural aesthetics rarely remain static, especially in an era where individual celebrity branding often becomes the dominant driver of global influence. And the first signs of change emerged when Gianluca Ginoble began appearing independently at prestigious fashion gatherings, including the influential showcases of Milan Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week, where the singer was photographed seated in coveted front row positions alongside designers, editors, and global style icons. And within the fashion world, the symbolism of the front row carries enormous cultural significance because those seats represent more than simple attendance. They signify recognition, status, and entry into the inner circle of industry influence. And by occupying that space alone, rather than alongside his bandmates, Gianluca Ginoble appeared to be communicating a subtle but unmistakable message that his identity as a public figure was expanding beyond the boundaries of the group's traditional framework. And this transformation becomes even more striking when we analyze the clothing choices themselves, because where the trio once embraced rigidly matched tailoring, the recent wardrobe of Gianluca Ginoble now features experimental silhouettes, avant-garde textures, and bespoke couture pieces that highlight his individual physique, rather than emphasizing visual symmetry with his bandmates and within fashion. Psychology, this type of shift can have powerful symbolic consequences because uniformity tends to communicate equality, while individualized couture can create an implicit hierarchy where one figure becomes visually dominant within a previously balanced group structure. And critics of the transformation argue that this change risks disrupting the equilibrium that originally defined Il Volo, suggesting that the break from synchronized styling may signal deeper creative differences within the group's evolving identity. Yet others interpret the development through a more strategic lens, viewing fashion not as a source of division, but as a sophisticated branding tool that allows artists to cultivate parallel identities capable of coexisting alongside their collective work. And when we examine the digital landscape surrounding the trio, this interpretation gains additional relevance because social media engagement metrics increasingly demonstrate how individual celebrity branding often generates greater attention than group-focused promotion, a trend visible across the entertainment industry, where artists who cultivate distinctive personal aesthetics frequently command stronger algorithmic visibility than those who remain visually indistinguishable from their collaborators. And in that context, the fashion evolution of Gianluca Ginoble may represent a pragmatic response to the demands of the modern media ecosystem, where audiences gravitate toward recognizable personalities with clearly defined visual narratives, rather than purely collective identities. And yet the transformation also raises important questions about the longevity of the trio's traditional brand, because the synchronized suits that once symbolized unity can now appear to some observers as relics of an earlier entertainment era, when tightly controlled group images dominated the marketing strategies of vocal ensembles and boy bands. And in today's cultural climate, authenticity, individuality, and artistic experimentation often carry greater value than strict visual conformity, which may explain why the classic uniform aesthetic has begun to feel restrictive rather than empowering for artists seeking to evolve creatively within a rapidly changing industry landscape. And within this framework, the growing association between Gianluca Ginoble and elite couture houses introduces another intriguing dimension, because relationships with high fashion designers frequently provide celebrities with platforms for exploring alternative creative identities that extend far beyond music into the realms of art design and visual storytelling. And if those partnerships continue to deepen, they could ultimately support a professional trajectory where the singer operates simultaneously as a vocalist, cultural ambassador, and fashion figure, existing within multiple creative spheres, rather than being defined solely by his role in an operatic trio. Yet even as speculation intensifies, it remains essential to recognize that evolution does not necessarily mean dissolution, because throughout music history, many successful groups have navigated similar transitions, allowing members to develop personal brands while still maintaining their collaborative projects. And therefore, the true significance of the recent fashion developments may lie not in the death of Il Volo's identity, but in the birth of a more complex structure, where three distinct artistic personalities coexist under one legendary name. And if that transformation continues, the future could even include a celebratory farewell to the uniform era, where the trio embraces individual expression while honoring the visual traditions that helped build their global reputation, demonstrating that legacy and evolution do not have to exist in opposition, but can instead work together to create a richer narrative for both artists and audiences. And regardless of how this story ultimately unfolds, one thing has become unmistakably clear: the fashion-forward choices of Gianluca Ginoble are more than simple style decisions. They are visual declarations of creative curiosity, independence, and ambition, offering a glimpse into the next chapter of a career that continues to expand beyond the boundaries of the stage. And if you love the voices, the legacy, and the incredible journey of Il Volo, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. because if you love Il Volo music, you won't want to miss our next celebrity documentary, exploring the evolving careers of Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble.